Do you want to start a business, get out of the office, achieve happiness and success while crushing life? This is Boss to Boss, the place to be for that extra motivation to get up and follow your dreams while learning from the ones who have already done it. And now for your host, Miro Wieslow.
Welcome to Boss to Boss. Today's guest is an entrepreneur who has owned her own business since 2005. And as any good entrepreneur has, she's dabbled in a variety of industries and businesses. She currently hosts her own travel blog, GoToTravelGal.com, where she shows readers simple ways to collect miles and points to reduce or completely eliminate the cost of travel. She and her family of 4 have flown around the US, Caribbean, and Europe almost entirely free, using miles and points for the last 3 years, and they're in fact about to go for free next week to Disney World. Lyn is also currently a freelance travel and food journalist for a variety of national outlets, including the Today Show, US News and World Report, MSN, and Reader's Digest. Her articles have also appeared in outlets like FoxNews.com, USA Today's 10best.com, Huffington Post, New York Post, and many others. Lyn Mettler, I can't say enough great things about you and what you do. I envy a lot of it. It's so amazing. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks for having me. It's great to meet you.
Yes. Definitely, especially what you do. Can you kind of give us a little bit more really quickly about how you've been living the last few years?
Sure. So, as you said in my bio there, I've had a variety of different businesses since 2005, and some of which I'm still juggling. But I'd say over the last couple of years, I've really tried to make my blog and my travel writing my primary focus. So it's been a process of trying to generate more income in those areas as I shift, income away from some of my other businesses. So I'm still trying to make it work better and better, every day. But I think I'm getting closer every day.
That's great. The things you do, I guess, what point in time did a moment happen, kind of like a realization that, you don't have to just sit there, behind a desk, behind a cubicle every day. You could get out there and kind of just make things happen for free, make things happen on your own. Was there that specific breaking point, I guess, in your life or something that occurred?
Yeah, I would say within 3 years of graduating from college, maybe a little bit more than that, but I held about 3 different jobs and just definitely realized I cannot sit in a cubicle. Like, this is going to kill me. And I hated it. And I come from an entrepreneurial family. So my dad is a longtime independent sales rep, has been my whole life. My grandparents, I grew up going to their office. They had their own finance company where they made small loans to people, starting from like the 1940s on. So I thought, really, there is a way that I can I really was working in public relations then. I can provide these services to people on my own. And so what really happened was my husband and I, before we had kids, decided to move from Indianapolis to Charleston, South Carolina, just because we thought it was pretty and we thought this would be a good time to try something new. And because I could not find a job there, that forced me into figuring out how to make this work on my own. So at the time it seemed like, oh no, I don't have a job. What am I going to do? But it was definitely a blessing in hindsight. And I was forced to, I really sort of gradually worked into this where I was a freelancer I did a freelancing for a website called iParenting.com back in the late 90s. They were eventually bought by Disney, but it was a very popular parenting site, and they spun off magazines. So I served as an editor for them. So I did some of that, and then found a local PR firm down in South Carolina who used contractors instead of full-time employees. So I was able to do that, work from home, and then eventually made enough contacts that I could start my own public relations business. That would have been my first delve into entrepreneurship.
So do you think that having that family background, that history, is it something like that it put additional pressure on you or less? Because you're like, I got this in my blood, I could do it. Or were you like, I need to do this. I need to kind of go into this realm, this entrepreneurial world.
Yeah, I mean, I really did it for myself because I knew I couldn't survive the other way and be happy. And honestly, I didn't even really think till many years down the road about the fact that literally I'm surrounded by entrepreneurs. Even my husband's family, they had run their own insurance business too. So I was like, well, no wonder I ended up an entrepreneur because it's like literally my whole family is entrepreneurs. So hopefully I pass this on to my kids too.
Right. And do you feel that you knew kind of what you were going to do next? Did you know, all right, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to be writing for these big outlets. I'm going to be traveling for free. Did you know, or is this something you kind of learned over time? How did that process work?
I mean, I have always felt like I've been guided throughout life. I'm a Christian, so I believe in God, and I believe that He has a plan for my life. And I've just always felt like I was guided in the right direction. Things happened as needed. So I would never have guessed I would end up where I am right now, for sure. But I mean, one thing sort of led to another over time, from public relations. And because I was in South Carolina, the tourism industry is the primary economic driver down there. So I ended up working with a lot of travel clients, which sort of started my interest in travel. And then sort of social media was coming along at that time. We sort of transitioned into offering social media services. And because of my travel connections, basically for my PR business, and I still do a little bit of that, but I'm pitching national outlets on behalf of clients. I'm trying to get them to write about them. So I made a lot of good editor connections, and I was like, hey, do you need anyone to write articles for you? And that's really what led into my writing side of things, which ultimately has become, one of I love to write. Like that's really is my passion. So that would be my dream, is if I could write full time, and I get to do all the writing on my blog. So I love spending time there too. And I really just sort of happened into this whole idea of collecting miles and points and using that to travel free. I always thought you had to fly and earn the miles and, to book a free flight. But I learned that there's so many other ways to collect these miles and points. It doesn't require ever setting foot on a plane, that, enable you to, we literally fly free everywhere, 4 of us, which is crazy.
That's amazing.
So, and I think it's a great thing for entrepreneurs to know, because we're rare in that we have the flexibility of time. We're not limited to a certain number of vacation days or a 9-to-5 desk job. We have the freedom to travel if we can just afford it, right?
Exactly. Next one I was going to say is add the money. That's definitely an entrepreneur's struggle at times. Right.
And I mean, entrepreneurs, we're crafty and, at figuring things out and making, a lot with a few resources. And this is a great way to do this for travel. And entrepreneurs like to work themselves to death, right? So it's so great to take a break. You can work. I mean, I work when we're traveling, but just to get somewhere different, is sometimes very inspiring and helps you generate ideas and all that. So I'm just a firm believer. I love to travel. I think everyone should do it if they can. And this is a way to kind of reduce to the cost barrier.
That, like, after you're saying that we work each other to death, entrepreneurs, definitely something I just talked about in like one of my rants and recaps episodes of my podcast. Do you feel that something you do now, like the longer you do it, the more you realize that, going this way, it's not going to be very healthy for us, and we have to kind of like throw in things for us, do things. Do you think that working while traveling, is that like the answer? Is that the key to everything? Sounds like you figured it out.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, some people would say you shouldn't work while traveling, but we travel a lot. So I couldn't keep things afloat if I didn't do that. And I've tried to come up with a system like where I get up really early when we're traveling, maybe before 2 or 3 hours before everyone else in my family, and knock out a bunch of stuff right then, so that then I have, most of the rest of our day to spend on activities. But I do think that, if you can if you can travel more and know that you can still get some work done, then go for it,
Why not? Yeah, because some people looked at it as like kind of taboo, like you're at work, you're traveling, but you're working. Are you really present? Though, if you're already there and, this allows you to be there and, get it out in a few hours, why not? Like, I think that's amazing. And it's like that's my dream. I wish.
Right. And that's such a great perk of being, running your own business is the flexibility to do this. So many other people cannot travel because they are, they only have their 1 week a year or whatever, which is
right. Awful. A week, 2 weeks a year.
Yeah. So I say take advantage of that. If you can do it affordably.
Would you say, you knew this was going to come. You knew I was going to ask this question. You knew this was probably inevitable, and you know exactly where I'm going with this. Yes, I have to put you on the spot. Can you give us a quick travel hack? Is there anything you can throw out at the audience, at our listeners? Obviously, we don't want you to reveal the things, the secret things, but is there something you can throw out at us?
Yeah, like
not throw up, throw out.
Yeah, absolutely. So the best travel hack I have is the Southwest Companion Pass. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of it. I've never been fortunate enough to get it yet.
Right. So that's what I really try to help people get because it's the simplest thing to do. I'm all about, because miles and points can get really complicated. Yeah. I'm all about keep it simple. So if you can earn the Southwest Companion Pass, and I have a free ebook on my blog that you can download that walks you through exactly how to do this in just a couple steps, then you've got, what it allows you to do is bring one person to fly with you on Southwest for up to 2 years.
Up to 2 years?
Where you go. Yeah.
I thought it was 1 year.
So no, from the time you earn it till the end of the following year. So like, let's say you can earn it in January of 2019, it's good through the end of 2020.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
You never have to redeem any points or pay any cash for someone. So in my family, one of us always flies free on the Companion Pass, anywhere Southwest flies, which is all over the country and the Caribbean. And then when you earn the pass, you have to have 110,000 points, which actually is not hard to do. And then you can use those 110,000 points to book free flights, which goes a long way on Southwest because they are really the cheapest airline when it comes to the cost of points to fly somewhere. Most other ones charge 25,000 round trip.
Exactly.
We can do Southwest sometimes. We flew to New York one time from Indianapolis for 7,500 points per person. Yes. And again, we only have to pay for 3 of us. The 4th one goes free. So we really stretch those points. And
yes, you did.
We've been so many cool places that my kids would never have gone. And, we used to literally just take one trip a year by car. And now we fly 6 or more times a year by plane. It's crazy.
Wow. So Southwest, I've always been a big proponent to Southwest. I always felt like their point programs were the best. And
service is top notch too.
Right. So you would say there's good ways to get that Companion Pass, easier ways than actually, because for me it's like what you got to get like 25 flights or something, right? Down, I think it shows.
Forget the flights, and you just earn the points. Unless you're flying on business, and again, you're probably going to work for someone if you're flying that much, right?
Yes.
There's no way in the world you're going to get that many flights in. So, essentially what the miles and points, there's other ways to do it, but the easiest ways to do it is to take advantage of credit cards. Like, use them to your advantage. Don't let the banks take advantage of you. But you sign up for 2 Southwest credit cards, you meet their minimum spend, you pretty much have enough points to earn your Companion Pass. You never have to use those cards again. Close them, or you can keep them and just pay them off, every few days. Like, of course, you have to be a responsible credit card holder. Nobody wants you to get in debt or you're not traveling. No longer a good deal. But that's the easiest way to do it. And I used to be a couponer, and I recognize this is the same thing as couponing.
It is.
Instead of collecting coupons, I'm collecting miles, and you're still looking to purchase when the price is the lowest, just like you are when you're couponing. You're trying to match a coupon with a sale. And that's what we do. We match our miles and points with a flight sale to really, really stretch those. So it's amazing.
Wow, that's fascinating. I didn't even think about that because I did get a Southwest card, and, you get like the 50, 60,000 miles right there.
Yep.
And I should have gotten a second one, I guess, right?
So you get a business and a personal. So we're entrepreneurs. We have our own business.
Right.
Qualify for the business
as long
card.
as it goes to the same rewards number, right?
Right. And it's 60,000 points when you meet the minimum spend. So 60 plus 50 is 110,000. You would have had your companion pass.
Wow. All right. Well, this is so fascinating. I could go on about this for days.
I could too. So.
Yeah. That's amazing. I'm definitely going to check out this ebook. Do you have a link for it, or do we just go on gototravelgal.com?
You can, and I set up a page specifically for listeners to your podcast. So if you just go to gototravelgal.com/boss, BOSS, you'll have everything there.
All right, everybody. That's for Lyn Mettler to get her ebook for travel hacks. That's gototravelgal.com/boss.
Yep.
Love it. That's awesome. We'll be sure to check that out. Everybody, you can't go wrong with a free ebook. And I was looking at your website anyway, to just in general, and there's plenty of info there, your blog and everything. Things like this, especially when content is out there, we should definitely take advantage of it. There's so much out there for us. And, thank you for providing us with info and, things like that. It's really there, it's there for the taking. And, why shouldn't we take advantage of things like this?
Yes, I'm just passionate about helping people travel more. It's life-changing. It is. And I think a lot of people wish they could do things like that and, get paid to travel or travel for free, things like that. Those are like dream jobs for some people. Some people obviously hate getting out, and, that's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's different. Though I know this hits home with a lot of people, that's for sure. It definitely hits home with me. What are some of the mistakes, though, you made along the way? There had to be one, maybe two, right? 10 million.
Anything crucial that you relive every once in a while, and you're like, this had to happen. This was tough, but here I am because of this.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I had a total business failure with the social media business that we started, and I ended up having partners there, and we just could not get enough income going to get that one to take off, and we ended up splitting, separating partners again to where me had the business. But I am just now starting to, I really think, figure it all out. So one thing I would tell your listeners,
yes,
even if you're just starting or you're further down the road with it, is to learn how to manage your business's finances. And I just came across the book Profit First, which I highly recommend. I wish someone had given me this from day one. Because no one has ever told me how to run my business's finances. And I've had accountants over the years, but they just sort of do the very basic, taxes and whatever for me. I never wanted to spend money on, counseling or.
Yes.
I've tried to do it on my own, but this thing really just tells you exactly how to do it to ensure like you don't have too many expenses for the amount of money that you're bringing in, and whether you do or do not have enough money to hire someone, and how you should always put yourself first. You should pay yourself first and make sure you have that money before you have anything else. And so it's really made me take a hard look at my expenses.
Right.
Realize I can cut a lot of it. I kind of had the mindset of, it's good because I can write it off or whatever, but actually it's keeping me from being profitable. So I think not managing the finances properly was a big mistake in the business that really just failed because we just didn't have a system in place. We didn't understand. We hired too quickly and when we probably shouldn't have, and we didn't set aside any emergency money or things like that. And I've also struggled over the years with hiring people. I don't feel like I'm a good manager, nor do I seem to do a good job of finding the right person. I've worked with too many people that were not a good fit and then feel terrible about having to let them go. And so that's something I'm still trying to.
I can relate to that so much. I'm here, it's my second year as being a business owner, and definitely it's every day. It's a struggle, especially when, like in my industry, I have a pretty high, people, there's a turnover. People definitely come and go. And I'm still here trying, day by day, get these things right. It hasn't been easy, though. We have to keep doing it and keep putting ourselves out there and making progress. Progress.
Yeah, I think it's just educating yourself and learning. I go to Starbucks all the time, and their employees are so great. And I think I need to figure out what is Starbucks hiring.
What do they do, right?
Yes, because that's the kind of person that I want working for me. You know, they're
Yes.
genuinely great people, seem to be.
That is such a great way of looking at it, right? If we get everybody on our team just like the employees at Starbucks, we'd be pretty well off. They are they're super friendly and super informative. I always have a great time, like grabbing something.
You're right. They just seem to be really good.
And for example, a year and a half ago or so now, I was sitting there, in my cubicle, miserable, trying to figure out what to do. Do you have a word of advice? Any thoughts on someone that's sitting there like I was, and they're kind of trying to figure out whether or not they should make this leap, whether or not they can make something for themselves and make money themselves? Do you have anything that you would tell them if they're determining if this is for them?
I mean, I can't imagine not having my own business. I was just talking with a friend, and he had just started his own. He's like, "Oh, and I just got offered like a, $100,000 salary position somewhere.
Okay.
And I couldn't decide, should I take it? Shouldn't I?" And I went, "Oh, there's no way. Like I wouldn't take it no matter what. I love working for myself, but when you're trying to decide to make that jump, I mean, I think the big thing is you have to know that you will have some income coming in right away. So the way I made the transition is by aligning myself with people who worked like in similar industries. So I was in public relations then. So I found graphic designers, photographers. So they were providing services to the same type of clients that I would, and they were able to refer me. So that gave me some immediate clients, not that I had tons, but it gave me the, 2 or 3 to enough to get me going. So I think that's a great strategy. And I'm super thankful to those people to this day, because if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have been able to say, okay, I'm just going to take the leap and go on my own. So I think that's important, as well as, slowly making the transition, like working at night or on the weekends on, whatever your project is, to kind of get it going and generate some income before you make that leap. And this book that I mentioned will explain to you, how much you can kind of figure out, like, how much money do I need to have coming in? And then it'll explain to you, like, how much do I need
enough to
pay myself, and then it'll tell you how much sales you need to have coming in, and then what your expenses could be.
Talking about profit first, right?
Profit first.
Yeah, and that is a book I've had mentioned by a few guests actually on the show. I do need to go check it out now, because now it's at the point where okay, I hear it one more time, I have no choice but to go check it out. I've heard nothing but amazing things, like you just mentioned.
Yeah, and the author has another one that I'm listening to right now called The Pumpkin Plan, and it's really good too. And it's more about how to grow your startup business, and really make it stand out. So he's big on like and this is a mistake I made too, only taking good clients and specific clients, not just taking anyone and everyone and saying, sure, I can do that, I'll figure it out, just because you feel like you need the money. But figuring out who an ideal client is,
exactly,
and cutting the ones that are pains.
Right,
I've had so many bad clients.
Money and causing you stress, and
that I wish I ditched way earlier.
I've heard that from numerous people. I'm in this mastermind group, and it's one of the key issues that a lot of people deal with and struggle with.
Yeah,
it's so key, so important.
Yeah, so he gives a good explanation of that.
Okay, no, that's good. I'm gonna check that one out as well. I'm always looking for some additional reads. I have a list of them I'm trying to get to.
Me too.
Though definitely always looking for other good ones. Now on to our favorite segment of the show.
Welcome to the round with no name, because they're all taken.
All right.
Right. So right now you get 5 seconds to initiate an answer for every single question. Just we don't want you to think too much. Just throw it out there. Whatever your mind subconsciously was thinking, that's what we want to hear. And otherwise, my producer gets a little mad at me, and then I have to deal with him, or I don't have to deal with him. We'll be fine. No. All right. That being said, here we go. Who has been or is your greatest mentor?
My dad.
All right, that's definitely a great answer. If you are stranded on an island for the unforeseeable future, what is the one item that you want with you?
Probably a book. I'll go with the Bible.
All right, and I think that's the first. That's actually the first on this show. So it's a Boss to Boss exclusive.
All right.
How do you drink your coffee?
I don't drink straight coffee. I like a Frappuccino.
Frappuccino. All right. And I take it Starbucks, or you got someone else?
Absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely. Which one?
Peppermint mocha. That's what I... Peppermint mocha.
Peppermint mocha. So you're like super pumped right now because they're about to come back.
I just ask for it anyway, and they give it to me because their employees are great.
So you cheat the system and you get them all year round.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Here's an inside tip for you.
Okay. There's actually crazy things that they can do for you at Starbucks that you don't even know, right? I'm sure you probably looked into their secret menu and stuff.
Yes, I have heard about that. Forgot about that.
Do you believe entrepreneurism is a fad?
No, people have been entrepreneurs since the beginning of time.
Okay, good answer. We could definitely go on about that one for days. How do you feel about white socks with black shoes?
I'm going with no, though my son's been wearing black socks with black shoes, and I think that looks weird too.
I've had such mixed answers, a bag of answers with that one. A lot of people tell me that they won't even take me seriously if that's how I were to show up to a meeting or something with white socks.
Though I'm not a fashionista, so.
If you had unlimited money right now and you could start up any business, anything you want, what would it be right now? Anything.
Maybe a tour company, travel company of some sort. Like taking people on tours to places around the world.
Okay. I like that. Do you feel voice is the future?
Do I feel what now?
Voice is the future. Like specifically, listening to podcasts, audiobooks.
I don't know. It seems to be hot right now. YouTube and podcasting seem to be big. I think it's a way for you to reach a more niche audience than everybody's overwhelmed with information. This helps narrow it down a little bit.
So you saying YouTube, so you think video as well, right? You kind of mix that up.
Yep.
What is one item that you consume or something you have with you, you wear? It could be anything. One item very specific that makes you you and makes you different and, something that just you need every day.
Well, I wear a miraculous medal, which is Mary.
Okay.
Probably pretty unique.
Yeah, no, it definitely stands out. That's for sure. That's an amazing piece. We survived. You survived. We're here. We're done with the round.
All right.
Great answer. I could tell you were getting heated up over there. I could tell. That's good. We want you to think outside the box, and we want you to have to think on your feet. Get you thinking, get you sweating a little.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you want to share with the listeners? Anybody, just to anyone out there that's listening and they're in these situations, and just maybe something specific that you have dealt with, or anything you want to throw at us?
Well, there's one other book that I'd recommend. I bet you've had past people talk about this one too, but it's been the most influential book for me in terms of business, which is The One Thing by Gary Keller.
Oh, okay.
That is the best book for anyone, business owner or not, and it will help you if you're trying to become an entrepreneur or you are an entrepreneur, because it forces you to really look at the most important, impactful things that you're doing and narrow your focus to those. And that can apply to travel. It can apply to your family. It can apply to exercise. It can apply to your business. But I love this book. It's a really easy read. It takes the 80-20 principle, which I love, but makes it user-friendly for...
Can you explain more the 80-20 principle for anyone that isn't familiar?
So let's see if I can say this right. So the 80-20 principle says that 20% of your efforts generate 80% of your outcomes. So if And the other 80% of the work you're doing is generating, only 20%. So cut that stuff out. That's the idea. Cut 80% of what you're doing out because it's generating very little, and focus on the 20% of things you're doing that are making the biggest difference. And then you can even, segment it down further than that. Look at the 20% of the 20%. Then you're getting to super impactful tasks. And as entrepreneurs who are juggling many, many things and feeling strapped for time, that's a great way to approach your to-do list. Okay, what are the things that are really generating the most outcomes, and let me focus on those and literally delete everything else off the to-do list.
Delete or outsource? What would you say?
Well, after listening to Profit First, I'm less keen on outsourcing right away. Like, I think try this first and see if you can't just reduce what you're doing down to something manageable, right? Because you don't want to outsource something if it's still only generating 20% of your results. It's not worth it. Focus on growing this 20% that's generating most of your impactful results,
Okay. No, I love that. That's awesome.
Like, as an example, like say when I'm pitching media, I finally figured out, instead of sending a news release to 300 people, I just narrowed it down to like the 50 that ever actually run anything or respond to me. Significant time savings there.
That one question off of that. Do you feel that it's not worth it to pursue those other ones, or are you waiting to find
the return is so minimal, it's not worth it.
Okay.
I would rather spend a little more time massaging these top ones who do respond, than spending another hour sending to a bunch of people, and I might get one out of the other 250 that I sent. Is that really worth it?
Wow. That's making me think. I like that a lot. I think our listeners will like that as well. I wanna mention your site and your social media as well. Again, it's go to travelgal.com, and then we also got go to travelgal.com / boss for your free ebook. Everybody, we need to check that out. This is a complete must. Anywhere else? I know it's Lyn Mettler on social media. Any other?
It's Go To Travel Gal. Like, you'll find me on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. All that is Go To Travel Gal.
But everywhere it's at Go To Travel Gal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But it'll show up as Lyn Mettler as well, so that's how they'll know that it's you.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, awesome. Well, we'll definitely be on the lookout. We'll be sure to follow your journey, and one day hopefully we could tune back in with you and see kind of where you're at, and where how the Disney World trip went, and see what's next up your sleeves and what new books you got coming out, or what's going on with your blog. Yeah, we appreciate your time, and thanks so much for hopping on.
Sure. Happy to be on. It was fun.
That is all for this episode of Boss to Boss. Your next step is to visit bosstoboss.com, where you will find proven techniques followed by professionals to help you make that next step. Again, that is boss2boss.com. And remember, the time is now.